Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about I got burned twice after getting reactivated on Doordash. Here's what happened. So recently I've been reactivated on Doordash, which has been a great thing for me, to be honest. And while I would have loved to stay in the honeymoon phase of winning this 4.5 year battle for myself, I have immediately been scammed by people in my own market, both on the restaurant side and the customer side. So in this video, we are talking about how I got scammed twice on the Doordash platform, what Doordash was saying versus what those scammers were saying versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain and is never intended to be legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that we're going to be going over today is very market to market and case by case. So what applies to me in my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. Getting scammed by a customer. The first scam I want to quickly talk about is how I got scammed by a customer. I took an order for $10.52 for 5 miles for Huey Magoo's chicken, which is overall solid, and the pickup was simple. I go in, they had it ready, I go out. I was given an address that stated an apartment number that was inputted into the app, and for the sake of privacy and not giving too much information on the customer, I'm just gonna say 211. I finished the leave at door order, make sure that I was getting the unit number within the photo into the shot, and head back to my car. When I get close to my car, someone called out to me asking if I was there to deliver food and asked if my name was Jorge. I was there to deliver, but my name isn't Jorge. I started driving back to where I was prior to getting that order, and I got a call from the customer where he decides to play the victim and claims that I delivered to the other side of the area and lied to me about delivering to the right location. Meanwhile, they set the address for the unit above theirs. It's a common refund method, and honestly, it's a pathetic one at that. But what made it worse is that I didn't get a contract violation, and if I did, that would mean I'm guilty, but I got a quality rating hit. And that's really impactful from the perspective of someone who's still trying to come back after reactivation, because this isn't just a violation. If it's a violation, I could dispute it, I could tell my side of the story, and I could have it removed. But because it's not a violation, I can't dispute it. So I could be 100% right, they could be 100% a scammer. Doordash would have the documentation to back up my claims and not theirs, but they still made the report, so therefore I still get the hit. Like, I am at fault for their claim that it never arrives when you have the documentation supporting that it did. It's not like it's my kid and I'm responsible for him as his parent. No, he's just some random customer who's trying to get a free meal at a Doordash. And that's not even the craziest scenario that I ended up in. Getting scammed by a restaurant. So as I am coming back to Doordash and coming back into this app, there are some restaurants that have blocked me on Uber Eats because of previous disputes, but they didn't block me on Doordash. One of them is a First Watch that is right by my home. I have made a video about this dispute already, but my thought process was that it has been a long time since that event, which means people could have been hired, fired, left of their own accord, and overall emotions could have just been diminished. And since this location has earned a reputation for being higher volume, I figured I would just accept it, and if they won't hand me the order, I'll just unassign and move on. It happens. Otherwise, I'll just get back to working with this location like any other restaurant. It couldn't hurt to try. Honestly, I arrived to pick up that order, and I haven't felt such a warm welcome in a long time. I've had a rapport with a lot of the staff prior to that incident, and it was really just one manager being a dick but I didn't expect a warm welcome of this caliber. One staff member was excited to see me again, said they were pissed that the previous manager at the time, Jonavan or whatever his name is, had blocked me on Uber Eats. And one staff member remembered me, waved, and even said hello. And others have said hello, and I knew others, but they just didn't say anything or didn't know me that well in order to say anything. So it really is what it is. Regardless, the order came out and the milk spilled because that was part of the order, and they made a new one. They said they had two people with the same name and said everything that was supposed to be in my order was there. I delivered the order and the customer claimed that they were missing half of the items. I explained that I was told by First Watch that that was everything and I can't check sealed bags, and I proceed with the rest of my day without really thinking about it, because honestly, it happens. Those situations do come up. People forget items every now and then, and it's not like I forgot them. I asked them. They just said that was everything. And I started wondering, why was it so dead on a Saturday? Later on, I ended up getting an email saying I created a hostile environment for a merchant, and since I only did 2 orders that day, I am more than capable of putting 2 and 2 together. But what was the point of playing nice, though? I didn't start an issue. They said they were happy to see me. I honestly didn't know if this was a misunderstanding, a staff issue, or an attempt to avoid accountability for missing items. However, these events both raised a bunch of red flags for me personally. No appeals process. Now, each of these events took place, and at no period of time was I allotted an opportunity to state my side of things, which is typical for ratings and warning notifications. But wow, not even a chance to explain anything? I know that I could state my side if I get a violation, but because there was no violation, I get the rating hit and the throttling by not having the opportunity to fight back. That's insane. That almost makes it worse. Like, a restaurant can just say I was cursing and flailing my arms like a madman, hopping on tables and shaking my booty. And even if the story is completely unbelievable, because it was told at all, I get the punishment. I know that seems like a lot, but it also makes my point of a merchant could theoretically exaggerate an interaction so dramatically, just like I did here, to offset the blame from the restaurant to the driver. And honestly, this kind of thing isn't even unique to my situation. We've seen DoorDash related controversies where people frame themselves as the victim in ways that have become heavily debated depending on what actually happened. I remember talking about many of those situations on previous live stream discussions, and it really made me think about how difficult it is for platforms to fairly evaluate incidents when they only get fragments of the story. If you guys want to see some of my previous live streams on the subject, they're available on our Patreon. Right now, the live stream, we're taking a hiatus, and quite frankly, I don't know what we're going to do with that, but I am planning on putting some stuff onto the Patreon, so if you guys want to contribute to that at all, feel free to check that out. Regardless, it is kind of nuts that there isn't an appeal when you get a rating that is considering how quickly your ratings affect your order flow. Heavy throttling. Like I said, after that happened, I got barely any pings or offers, and it was a Saturday, which leads me to believe that I either was not in a great physical position or I was getting throttled hard, which makes sense in theory. If DoorDash can't tell if I'm safe to work with, would they send me orders into interim? Probably not. I don't know if I would if I was in their shoes. However, I can't tell if that is a normal amount of throttling, all things considered, or if I should expect this kind of throttling after every incident. I don't know, but I really hope it is not a regular occurrence. One step in the right direction. I have to give credit where credit is due, though, and say something that they did right in this case is that they became much more specific when it comes to ratings and warnings. They didn't tell you that a violation occurred. They didn't tell you we received a report from somebody. They outright tell you what kind of violation you received and which party it was associated with. It isn't a guessing game anymore. And that was one of my greater critiques on this platform and a few others in the past. And I'm glad that they at least took that note down. Now they only need to give me a chance to dispute a quality hourly rate hit, and I am overall happy. Honestly though, situations like this started making me think about something bigger for myself. Maybe time to move. This may be more of a personal note, but one of the things that this incident or these incidents made me think about is how I've had plans to move from my current market into a new one. And while I do make some decent money here and I could see some room for growth, all things considered, I think my history kind of just left a weird mark. Like, sure, I don't regret standing on business with every merchant I've ever had it out with, or customers or platforms that I've dealt with. I've came out on top in a lot of ways. I also think a fresh start might do me good too, you know? Like, I got my account back that I've been off for years, and I am happy about that, but the history of working with merchants didn't exactly just become forgotten. I definitely plan on moving at some point to be closer to my family in a different area. And I may be considering moving up to date and really honing in on my research on that location, being suitable for both gig work and other business that I plan on pursuing out there, not just one. But nevertheless, one thing I must be considered before moving is if I cannot make as much out there on both fronts, then it can't be done until I hit a certain milestone. But more details on that a different day. Today is not the day to overthink logistics on this subject. Final thoughts. Look, this is really nothing new for the gig community. This is really just par for the course, but honestly, I think it's worth mentioning. Yes, Doordash has made some changes to help the overall community, such as receipt scanning, and I have acknowledged that in my last video. But it is amazing that it happened the moment I got back on, and it definitely made me think about my immediate future more. And while research is necessary, and I have other methods of working and earning in the meantime, it does show how you can add features and change the system, but you can't change people and principles. I haven't seen the scamming customer, but I have been to that first watch again, and I haven't had another issue. So I wonder if they realized, hey, maybe he isn't so bad. Maybe that douche that doesn't work here anymore was the problem. But it doesn't change my position much either. I'm going to continue to take orders that profit me. I'm going to keep building my business, and I'm going to expand my earning opportunities accordingly, and overall move towards my life goals and my business goals. Regardless, I am looking forward to navigating this again on a platform that seems to have been improved overall, but can still use some improvements in some areas. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, check out my website, drivenwyld.com, if you'd like to learn more about some of the services and gig platforms we have talked about in the past and are offering to gig workers today. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.